Since the All-Star Game break, the Toronto Maple Leafs are tied with the Dallas Stars for 7th in the league with a .67 for points percentage. Meanwhile, the Florida Panthers are in 4th place, and the Boston Bruins are in 17th place. Quite discreetly, the Tampa Bay Lightning occupy 10th place. The Leafs are likely to finish 3rd in the Atlantic Division, and face either Boston or Florida in the playoffs. However, with 12 games left in the season, it is necessary to discuss the possibility of moving up or down in the standings. Currently, the Leafs are 8 points behind Florida and Boston. Normally, this would be too big a difference to overcome in such a short time, but the Leafs have in their favor the fact that they have 2 games less than the Bruins, who are in decline. They have just 1 game less than the Panthers, but will still face the team twice this season. It's important to note that the Tampa Bay Lightning are just 4 points behind the Leafs, with a game in hand, and the Leafs will face the Lightning twice more this season. The Leafs' fate isn't entirely in their hands, but their performance over the next dozen games could make the contest more interesting in either direction. It's worth noting that the Leafs' remaining schedule is ranked 16th in terms of points percentage. The Bruins have the toughest schedule, while the Panthers and Lightning are ranked 21st and 22nd, respectively. Again, considering the Leafs play Florida and Tampa twice each, they have some control over their position relative to these 2 opponents. There are still too many teams and variables involved to debate who the Leafs would prefer to face within the division, but it's worth highlighting the obvious advantage for whoever wins the Eastern Conference. The first-place team will face the Capitals or Red Wings in the first round. There are no guarantees in the NHL, but theoretically, he is the easiest opponent in the first round. The Leafs would need to overtake the New York Rangers and the surprising Carolina Hurricanes, who just swept the Leafs, to win the conference, which is unlikely, but the home field advantage in the first round is still very much worth pursuing. In the last 3 years, one of them in the bubble season, the Leafs have had home field advantage and have won just 1 of 4 playoff series. Fans of this team generally don't pay much attention to this. When the Athletics' Dom crunched the numbers last spring, he found that home teams have won 55.4% of their playoff games since 2008. It's not the end of the world, and these numbers can vary wildly from year to year. That said, any advantage can help, and the Leafs, or any team, really, are in no position to turn down a playoff advantage. They're behind now, but the Bruins are showing weakness, and the Leafs will face the Panthers twice, not to mention the Lightning. There is a real possibility of moving up or down in the standings, and with a dozen games left on the schedule, it's up to the Leafs to take care of business and put themselves in the best possible position for the playoffs.